Hey everyone, Darren from Pacific Trade Winds Hostel. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can park in front of the hostel temporarily to unload your luggage, and how you can park near the hostel for a fee, and also how you can park in San Francisco for free if you're lucky. All right, so first of all, in front of the hostel, here's our little secret blue gate. This is a very nice electric car. It's not the electric car that we use at the hostel. Ours is 20 years old, but still, very nice electric car. But I got distracted there. What you need to be paying attention to in front of the hostel is the signs for parking on either side of the street. This side of the street is a bus lane. Let me actually go over and look at those signs. It says from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. you cannot park on that side of the street. If you do, and the meter piece of people come by, they'll give you a ticket by taking a picture of your license plate, and you'll just get the ticket in the mail. After 7 p.m., you're usually fine, except from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, one of the things that really screws people up here is that after midnight, it becomes the next day. So if you parked here on Sunday night and said, well, it's Sunday, then suddenly on Monday at 2 a.m. in the morning, it's going to be no parking. Anyway, so the other side of the street is a little bit more promising, but not much better. You've got this yellow curb here, and there's also some places where there is a red meter caps. Let me actually go back to the outside view. This is a red meter cap. That means that you need to have at least 3 axles on your car. Think big truck. If you're backpacking with a big truck, good for you. You could probably sleep in the back of the truck. But if you're in a car, you can get a ticket even if you've put money in the meter and you're not a big truck. Now over here, a little bit further down, is a yellow capped meter. Yellow capped meters are for any kind of commercial vehicle. Chances are you're not traveling with a commercial vehicle, so you can still get a ticket if you're parked there. Now, what we have found is that most people, if you park your car there, leave somebody with the car, have somebody else bring up the luggage, or you could leave your emergency flashers on, that seems to deter people from actually giving you a ticket. But again, it's at your own risk. So the best thing to do is always to leave somebody with the car, just to drive around the block if necessary. Okay, so now paid parking near the hostel. Let's actually back up here. And Sacramento Street's a one-way street. We're going to go right down to this intersection. So let me go over there. And nope, that's not it. Here we are. We're at this intersection right here. So here is the hostel right there. Nice big tall building. So over here on Kearny Street, if you see this bridge that is crossing the street, there is one parking garage called Portsmouth Parking. The entrance is just under that bridge to the left. So basically, if you were in front of the hostel, come right up here to Kearny Street, make a right turn, and you pull right in there. Now, the price for that parking is pretty steep. It's about $6 an hour, and it's a $32 maximum. You can't go in and out during the course of the day, but $32 per 24 hours there. Everything else in the neighborhood, you're going to either see a gray parking meter, which is one that you can park in, usually about a 2-hour limit, or a green parking meter, which is only 15 minutes, or the yellow and red parking meters that I already told you about. Okay, the other parking garage is way down here. You can't really see it. It says park. Right there, park. So to get to this one, it's a little bit trickier. In San Francisco is notorious for one-way streets. So everything's like a one-way, pretty much. So when you come out of our hostel door, come down to this street, turn right. You're going to turn right on Clay, and then you're going to go all the way down to Montgomery Street, which we can't really see now here because it's over here. You're going to go down on Montgomery Street, and then you'll come back over here down to Pine Street, and then turn right, and then you'll turn right again on Kearny Street, and then you'll be able to go into this parking garage. This one's called St. Mary's. It's about the same price as Portsmouth Parking. They're both city-owned garages, so they do tend to be cheaper than some of the privately owned garages. However, recently, if you're traveling during the pandemic, you'll find that some parking garages have lowered their prices to, like, I've seen them like $10, but I think that's $10 for 12 hours, not 24 hours. Okay, so finally, I promised you that I would help you find free parking in San Francisco. Well, it's tricky once again, because in most places in San Francisco, they have these signs, 2-hour parking, unless you have this little sticker that has A. This one, neighborhood, has an A sticker. And the A sticker is something you put on your car, and it proves that you live in that neighborhood. You actually are a property owner or a renter in that neighborhood, and you can park indefinitely in that area. So as a tourist, most of the time you can't park in these areas. However, there are still some areas in the city where they don't have that enforcement. For whatever reason, they never put up these signs. How do you find them? So you go over here to Spot Angels, and just to give you some orientation, this is the downtown area. This is kind of approximately where the hostel is. I think it's a little bit further up here. But most of the things that people see and do are in this area, maybe down here into the Mission District, in that area. All of this area out here, is pretty much residential. Of course, people go to Golden Gate Park too, which has its own parking restrictions. So you kind of want to be down in this area, but chances are you're not going to be able to keep your car with you down in this area because it's really expensive. So what you can do is look on this map, and you'll see most of these areas, it says 2 hours, 2 hours. That's all of those residential parking permit areas. But in some areas, you'll see 7 days, 7+ days, or 6 days. And I think they're both 6 days because every street in San Francisco has street cleaning once per week. So let's take a look here and go to one of these 7-day ones, see if we have a picture. No. There we go. So this is a 2-hour parking, so that's not going to help. So this is where it's good because they have the photos here. I'm going to go to some place where I know. Yeah, here we go. So there is no 2-hour parking sign here, and it just says that from 10 a.m. to noon on the 2nd and the 4th Monday of the month. So that would be plus 7 days. You can park there. And so if you find the right street and you park there, you can leave it there for the week. Now, here's the big caveat to that. There is a general rule in San Francisco that says every car must be moved within 72 hours. So you can't leave a car parked in one space more than 72 hours. So that doesn't always get enforced. They don't always catch you with it. But if you stay more than 72 hours, you do run the risk of getting a ticket that way. So what a lot of guests, particularly those guests who are staying a long time at the hostel, will do is they will find themselves a spot like this. Sometimes the street sweeping is weekly, and they'll park there for 6 days. And backing up, they will take a number 1 bus. Okay, so here's what people will do. They'll go out there, they'll find some parking down in this area generally, and using Spot Angels. And then they'll come back over here to Laurel Village, take a number 1 bus, and it'll take you right back to within a block from the hostel. That's one possibility. Or if you're closer to Geary, you can take a number 38 bus, and it will take you right down to Kearny and Market Street, and then you can walk back down to the hostel that way. So the final option is to park outside of the city at one of the park and ride areas or the BART station. But again, that is kind of risky because although BART stations say that they are for airport travelers, well, that would imply maybe you're going on a trip. But down here on the BART website, it says that it's a 24-hour weekday time limit. So what we have found is that people who When you further out you go from the city, the less enforcement there tends to be in the parking lots. Better option is to park somewhere in the neighborhood of a BART parking lot. And again, as further you get away from the city, the easier, the less parking restrictions there are, because there's less congestion. So, for example, this is a parking lot here, but you might go off into these neighborhoods over in here, and you'll be able to find some parking and then just walk over to the BART station and take the subway back to San Francisco. So those are all of the options that we have for parking. Like I said, San Francisco is a very difficult place for parking. It's a cool city, very small, very compact. It's surrounded by water on 3 sides, so there's just not a lot of room here. All right, I hope that helps. Thanks.